What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Do 2 Bet Daily, August 31st, 2022. Last day of August, last day of the second month of this show. Been a damn good start for us here, up $2,775 2 months into this puppy. Haltermans, you guys are just driving this with me. I love it. We're doing great. Papa Dude, you excited for college football?
Love it. I've just been reviewing these games. Got a show tonight with Aaron, and yeah, we're ready to roll. Unfortunately, Aaron and I are going to a game that should be a dog. I'd kind of rather stay home and watch some.
I assume you mean you're going to the Oklahoma game where the Heisman candidacy is going to start for this year.
Right.
I just love having Somich on our team this year.
Yeah.
I can't help it. As soon as I fired on I took Oklahoma's quarterback at as high as 400-1 to win the Heisman. I took the most I could get was around 30 or 40-1. So I have 40-1, 35-1, 30-1, all on him to win the Heisman. I love the offensive switch. I think you guys are going to be a bunch of shootouts. I think you're going to see a ton of points for that Oklahoma offense all year.
I hope you're right.
And in true college football style, we've got a little bit of a slow Wednesday. So we're going to kick this off with a little segment that we're going to call the lines that we're worried are going to move on us, right? There's one game we each like that we think you're going to see some live movement heading into the weekend. I'll kick this puppy off. Look, Notre Dame, when they face good teams, is terrible. Traditionally, they just don't do very well. And I'm probably like an 8 out of 10 in college football, somewhere in that range. But every smart person that I listen to is telling me Ohio State is absolutely loaded this year. Their best comp is an Alabama team. And I know what happens when an Alabama team plays Notre Dame. They absolutely destroy them. This Ohio State team, favored by 17, has better athletes all over their field. The number one thing that you got to get worried about when you're talking about Ohio State is whether that offense can put the points up to cover this type of spread. Shouldn't be an issue with C.J. Stroud at quarterback, weapons at wide receiver. They've got a great offensive line this year. Their defense could be a little bit of a concern, but playing a team like Notre Dame, I don't worry as much about them getting points put up on them. You have a huge athletic advantage toward Ohio State. And this game is going to be played. It's one of the last games that you're going to see. I believe it's on Saturday night. This is going to be a get-out game for a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to start pouring money into Ohio State. I think this is going to get well over 17, probably that 18, 19 range by the time of kickoff. I want to make sure I get minus 17 locked in now. And I really like Ohio State first half, which also I think is going to get bet up. Right now you can get that at 9.5. That is going to be over 10.5 by the time of kickoff. So lock me in Ohio State minus 17 for Saturday. Aaron, did you like this game at all? Did you take a peek at it?
Yeah, it's not the game I'm going to go with. I do agree. I think Ohio State's, this is their year. I really think it's going to be them and Alabama, and I think they will start off with a bang here. I'm always questionable about a team going on the road at a really tough environment, and we're not sure who their quarterback is yet. And that's Notre Dame, and we don't know what this kid's going to be all about. We don't know how he's going to play. I think that could be a problem. And I think the Buckeyes will take advantage of that early. Also, new defensive coordinator for the Buckeyes as well. A guy that was at Oklahoma State last year and did a great job there. Now at Ohio State, you have to think Ohio State has better athletes than Oklahoma State had. You got that defense turned around after years of not being very good. Surely Ohio State's going to be better there in that department. But for my game, I'm going with a Somich special, especially since you sprung this on me. I'm taking Alabama minus 27.5 in the first half against Utah State. The Somich,
my man,
the Somich special. Listen, this is going up. If we can get it under that 28 number, that's the key. So I'm going to take them 27.5. Lock that in right now. You probably have the stat on Alabama there, but they always cover that first half, don't they?
Yeah, it's wild so if you go back over the last, I believe it's now 3 years, I want to say they're like 31-5, 31-4 in the first half. Late last year, the sportsbook started picking up on this. And I think this is a great pickup by you because they have not reverted back to their performance late last year. You could find Alabama games last year where they'd be laying 28 and the first half number would be minus 21.5 because Saban specifically is happy to run it up early, but absolutely shuts it down in the second half when he gets up 25, 28, 38, 35 points. And so you can get these monster first half numbers, and then they don't win the second half. They'll tie the second half, and you're not able to cover the full game spread. You saw Vegas books adjusting late last year where the first half spread was 75 to 80% of the game spread. This one that Aaron's pulling out here is about 60%. Sub 28, I agree with you, is something that's a great find. That will be over 28 by game time. So if you like Alabama first half, make sure you lock that in sooner rather than later and get that 27.5. Good pick, Aaron. Good choice. Papa Dude, what do you got for us?
Well, back to the Alabama, though. From what you're saying, then you could look at the 41.5 that Alabama is supposed to win by and maybe go against that. That's something to look at. Also, Utah State's not god awful, and they have a game under their belt as far as that goes too. I don't know what against UConn though. Move. Do what?
They didn't look wonderful against UConn last weekend. They struggled a little bit as big favorite.
They didn't. I don't know if this line's going to move or not, but I think this is a line that I'm definitely going to throw money at, and it's on Sunday. It's Florida State at LSU. The game is in New Orleans, I believe. LSU's only a 3-point favorite in this game. I don't understand that because everybody's saying Florida State sucks. And I know they think Brian Kelly can't coach because he's not from Cajun land. And that's the biggest bunch of shit I've ever heard. That's ridiculous. This guy can coach. They got players. They got some talent down there. 3 points? I'm going to jump all over that. I don't know if that line will move. I think it will.
I think it will.
I think -3 is pretty safe bet. I do think Florida State may be a little better than people think, but I don't think they're going to go into New Orleans and beat the Tigers. So that's one I think could move. And if you can get it at 3, I think you ought to take it.
Yeah, this is another game that's probably going to attract a ton of money late Saturday, early Sunday, because it really is the only game in town from just a marquee perspective on Sunday. I would expect you're going to see money come in on LSU as well. We'll see if it gets to 3.5. That's a big move if it can go from 3 to 3.5, especially with the game that's already taking quite a bit of money. I love the fact that Kelly has not announced a quarterback yet for LSU, and he's already seen Florida State play a game. So you already have some tape on Florida State, and you don't really have anything to go off of yet for this LSU team. I think that gives them an advantage down in the Bayou. Aaron, you on LSU as well?
I think it's a good one. And I think for the purposes of what we're doing, it's a really good one. I think it moves. I definitely do. I just think it's a lot like the game you described on Saturday night when you really get to focusing in on Sunday. I think bettors are going to go, I've got LSU in basically a home game down in New Orleans, and I'm only having to lay 3, and I think they're going to pound that. So I do think it'll move up to 3.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it's -4 even. I really think that line is going to move.
Aaron, were you surprised when you saw it was -3 to begin with?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, especially how Florida State has been. I know they're a name, and that's a lot of this.
It is. We got a game.
Yeah, when it comes to the betting, Florida State is still a name. But, yeah, I mean, when you really start to break this down, LSU should cover this if they're any good whatsoever. And I'm with you. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be good enough to beat Florida State in what, again, is basically a home game for them. It's a neutral site, sort of, but it's in New Orleans, Louisiana, so that will not be a neutral field whatsoever. So, yeah, I think the line's a little bit weird there. Maybe it's just the uncertainty of the quarterback. I mean, so much in college football is based on the quarterback. And if you don't really know who's going to play, maybe that's what's kind of affecting that line a little bit as well. Sure. But no, I thought it was a good pick by you.
That Superdome is absolutely going to be rocking. You mentioned it's a quote unquote neutral site, but you're going to have 60,000 LSU fans going crazy down there in the Bayou on a Sunday night. And don't forget, Monday is a holiday. So you also know that everybody has Monday off. So they can get to their drinking early on Sunday and treat it like a Saturday night game there down in LSU. That's going to be an absolute blast. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to have big-time college football back on TV over this weekend, too. I mean, I'm super excited about the NFL. I can't wait for that to kick off next Thursday. But I just love football, man. I was watching the Florida State Duchesne game. Like, what am I doing? Sitting around watching a 47-7 game in the fourth quarter just because I'm starved for football. Shit, I've watched Magic CFL games the last couple of weeks because I want football to kick off. So I cannot wait for this to get going. And before we jump into the best bets, I want to stop and say thank you first to everybody who's watching as well. We've almost had 5x the viewership this last week that we had the first week that we did this show. So really appreciate everyone checking it out, commenting, throwing the like up there so we get this out to more people. So thank you very much for everyone who's checked this out. Hopefully we can stay hot. We've had 4 straight winning weeks. So let's jump right into those best bets. We've got 2 from the Baseball Diamond and 1 from Saratoga. Aaron, go into the features usual. So we'll close out with a little Saratoga talk. Papa Dude, do you want to kick us off here with your best bet?
We'll do it. I had a good week, and I kind of chickened out a little bit this week. On this first one, I want to get off to a good start. This is one that, I don't really like the money situation here. I don't like picking these favorites like this, but it was kind of a tough day to find something I really, really liked in baseball. My cohort in crime, last night, he has to go to school, so we got to pick these games the night before, and I don't get to talk to him when the odds change in the morning. He's a huge Dodger fan, and he loves the Dodgers. I didn't give him the option to pick them.
Don't worry, I got it covered.
I know you did, but we were going to do the over/under, and last night we got it at 7, and this morning it went down to 6.5. And that's a little bit too low for me. I just think it's a little low. We were going to go under the 6.5, and or the under the 7. And he said it's a cinch because of the pitching matchup today. But when it dropped to 6.5, it scared me some. So he's going to get mad if we don't hit this. But anyway, I just went ahead. The other one I really liked tonight, for you guys that like to bet underdogs, I like the Red Sox at Minnesota tonight with Waka against Ryan. I like that one a lot. I have a hard time trusting Boston a little bit. That's why I didn't go with it. And the Minnesota pitcher is pretty good. He's okay. So the Twins really need the game much more than Boston. I don't know if that matters a whole lot in baseball, but I think it does. I almost went with that. If you're considering that one, I think that's a good bet. So I settled on the Braves tonight. The pitching matchup's not even close. They're playing the Rockies. -1.5. They should cover that. And I want to get off to a good start. And that's why I went with one that I'm really pretty confident in that they'll beat that spread. So I got the Braves -1.5 tonight.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, this is one that I looked at. Kyle Wright, 16-5 on the hill, 2.99 ERA, facing a Rockies rookie who's 2-5 with a 5.87 ERA. This is one where the Braves should be able to just roll right on by. It's interesting you mentioned that Boston game. That was the other game that I considered. Waka has been lights out, 9-1 on the year. My issue is Boston's 3-7 in their last 10, and Minnesota, like you said, needs the game. I didn't trust Boston as much, and you kind of teased this for me, so I'll just jump into my best bet here. Give me the Dodgers +145. I'm getting the best team in baseball +145, and yes, I know we're facing DeGrom. That's obviously why you're getting this +145 number, but this is only his 5th start of the year.
Right.
He hasn't gotten through 7 innings yet. He hasn't thrown 100 pitches yet. And it's not like Tyler Anderson's a slouch here. I mean, he's a very good pitcher for the Dodgers. He's 13-2 with a 2.69 ERA. So we've got a good pitcher on the mound for the Dodgers. I'll take the Dodgers lineup over the Mets lineup.
Sure.
DeGrom is not in midseason form yet, and I'm getting +145. And oh, by the way, the Dodgers are 8-2 in their last 10, and the Mets are 5-5. Like, I'll take the plus money there all day.
Love it.
Yeah, I think it's good too. And, the Mets have had trouble scoring, recently for sure. Now you're taking on Anderson. I think that's going to be even that 6.5 run line. I think that's pretty close to what it's going to be. I think it'll be a low scoring game. But you said it, if they can get DeGrom out and the game is tied, or maybe they're up one run or 2 runs, they're probably going to win because they're going to hit the bullpen.
Well, that's the key to me. I think we're going to get at least 2, maybe 3 bullpen innings here out of it. And Tyler Anderson actually been very good against the Mets. I think it's 74 at-bats against the Mets so far this year, or so in his career, this specific lineup. They're hitting .216 against him. So it's not like you're not getting a slouch here. I agree with you. I would lean under, which makes me like the +145 even more, because it's not like this is going to be a 4-0, 5-0 game for the Mets. You have to come back. I think it's going to be at most 1 or 2-0, and you're trying to come back from there. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing is 1-1 or 0-0 in the 5th or 6th inning, and then it's down to the bullpens and the offense, and I'll take the Dodgers at plus money in that scenario.
No doubt.
All right, let's head over to Saratoga here to close out the show. Aaron, going to head to our feature of the day, the 9th race over there. Tell us a little about why you like the number 1 horse here in the With Anticipation.
Well, I am excited for this one. I was waiting to bet this one back ever since I saw this horse break the maiden on debut. And if you've forgotten about this horse, it's the number 1 Battle of Normandy here, 3-1 on the morning line. This horse was the one that broke his maiden on debut for Shug on Whitney Day, very first race of the day. This horse won. Now, Alexis Zorbra was the favorite in that spot and had experience, plenty of experience under his belt. Was coming off of a sprint to a rout for Joseph O'Brien, led the whole way, And then all of a sudden, the number one Battle of Normandy just mows them down without even hardly trying, just totally just mowed them down. Shug with first-time starters, it's not like he's awful, but he's much better when they run the second time. They usually get a little bit of an improvement in that second start. This horse really doesn't have to improve to win, in my opinion. I think if he can repeat that last effort, he's going to get the job done here. If he improves, he could win under wraps. I mean, this was a really, really, really solid effort. Here's the deal. I think this horse was touted heavily. I think the people knew. Here's why. Shug McGahee, first-time starter, Kendrick Carmouche aboard, and was bet down to 3-1 on that debut. Now, why I say that, when Shug's got a live one, Jose Ortiz is on that horse 9 times out of 10. So for that horse to get bet down to 3-1 with Kendrick aboard, and again, that's not really a knock on Kendrick. It's just he doesn't usually go to him very often. That was really a sign. I think this could be a Breeders' Cup type of horse. I really do. I'm very excited for Battle of Normandy today. So that's who I'm going with. I'm going to go with Shug.
I have this one on top. It was a single for me until the 11 drew in. And when determinedly drew in, I backed off singling it. That's the only reason why this one wasn't a single for me, because I do think the 11 has a shot there. But the one-horse Battle of Normandy looked absolutely loaded there on Whitney Day in that W. Papa, did you get a chance to look at this race? Who'd you like here?
Oh, I like the one that Aaron picked. I really wasn't listening to him, though, because I've got a question there that I was looking at.
Do you want to jump into it? Let's talk a little bit about the Astros.
On the
Astros game as well.
Yeah. So I was looking at that real quick because I did look at that last night. I guess he's winning the money line on the Astros in Texas tonight. I think you can. I would put a little bit of money on Texas. I think tonight the pitching matchup favors them a little bit. Kind of a little bit of a rivalry probably between the Astros and the Rangers, I would think. So I like the pitching matchup a lot between Perez, who's Texas's best pitcher, and Javier, who's a good pitcher for Houston, but not their best, and minus 140 for Houston. I don't know. I didn't check what Texas is, but I think that's a decent gamble to bet on tonight.
Yeah, I looked at this game because I originally, so you can get Texas right now. It's plus 118. It looks like minus 132 on Houston right now. As the line has moved a little bit. Yes. I wanted to play Houston because I like betting Houston, and I dove down into this Texas side, and Martin Perez is giving up a 305. I like looking at specifically how a pitcher has done against the hitters that are going to be in the lineup and he's faced this Houston lineup 174 at bats and given up 0 home runs. And that to me is one of those things where it kind of makes you take a step back. It's tough to bet an Astros team if they can't hit home runs against the pitcher they're facing. And so that made me a little bit to maybe pump the brakes on the Astros. So I don't hate your idea of taking Texas here on the money line. This one was a stay away for me because I do respect the Astros quite a bit. I think they're a very good team. But I guess if I was forced to bet, I would probably lean toward Texas, but I'm going to stay away from the game.
This game is really similar to, in some ways at least, to that Boston game where it's like, you want to take Boston, the pitching matchup favors, but it's like the Twins are better. The Twins need it more. The Astros don't really need to win this game, but still, if you're taking the Rangers, you are relying on a team that's not as good, right? So that was kind of the tricky part about that game.
And you're going up against a team that is very good, maybe the best team in baseball.
Right, even more so than the Twins, in that Boston situation. Where it's like, the Twins are good, but they're not like elite, where this Houston team could win the World Series.
If I was going to take an upset, I would definitely pick Boston over Minnesota before I would this one.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Astros sitting at 83 and 47 versus the Rangers at 58 and 70. So obviously a massive edge there from that perspective. And it makes the Astros, and this is why I looked at the Astros, because if you see a team that's minus 135, minus 132 that has that big of a record edge, you immediately gravitate toward it. And then you ask why. Why is it not minus 200? Why is it not minus 210, right? And that, when I dove deeper into specifically Martin Perez's numbers against these Astros, that's the answer why. So it's one of those where, look, if you like the Astros, I don't hate it, but like I couldn't find a way to put money down on this game and be confident in either side.
Sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here on Dudes Who Bet Daily for a Wednesday edition. I'm putting you on a spot. Are we doing a Monday show? for Labor Day? We should do a Monday show, right?
We're
college
doing a
football,
Monday show.
We got Delmar, we got Saratoga. So we got a 6-day week. We'll do a Monday show to close out the week here. It's been a heck of a start. We're 9 weeks in here, almost 2 months in, up $2,775. The picks for today, Aaron, going to Saratoga, race number 9, number 1, Battle of Normandy, 3-1 on the morning line. Papa Dude taking the Braves, laying the 1.5 and minus 145 against the Rockies. And I'm going to take the Dodgers at plus 145 and see if we can knock the Grom off for the second time this year. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow at noon Eastern for best bets across Del Mar, Saratoga, and the sports world. Take care.